In 1960, when the Buckman wastewater treatment plant first opened, the city was still dumping raw sewage into the St. Johns River. That's certainly not the case anymore, as representatives from some of the city's largest industrial companies learned on a recent tour. Casey Nettles, JEA's Buckman manager, explained that the plant is, in part, a highly sensitive laboratory for nitrogen-eating bacteria. Bacteria that are easily killed if someone flushes something toxic down the drain.
Things can come into this plant that are not too friendly to our microorganisms.
Nettles used a high-powered microscope to show the tour group live microscopic organisms that clean the city's effluent of solids and nitrogen far better than any human can do.
If the process is new and just starting up, you'll have certain protozoa, a simpler life form, that are dominant. And if the bacteria or the sludge that we keep are too old, then we have a much more advanced type life form or protozoa.
Buckman is JEA's largest wastewater treatment plant. Some 28 million gallons of wastewater go through the facility each day. This group saw every stage of the water treatment process, starting with JEA's new grit removal system designed to remove fine sand particles from the wastewater.
It's working much better than we anticipated, which made me have to go revise my budget for removing this stuff. We have to dispose of this stuff at the landfill.
By the way, notice those purple reclaimed water pipes? Buckman capped its freshwater well several years ago and now uses reclaimed for wastewater treatment. This keeps over 3 million gallons of fresh water a day in the Floridan aquifer.
We have 2 of these screening systems. You can see what it's catching.
After grit removal, the wastewater flows to preliminary stage treatment where things like plastics, rags, and other non-sewage solids are removed from the wastewater so they don't interfere with the treatment process. What's removed is dried and compacted and sent to the landfill. From here, wastewater moves through a settling tank where heavy solids settle to the bottom and other materials like grease float to the top. This is called primary treatment. This was the extent of Jacksonville's water treatment process until the mid-70s.
At this point, it was chlorinated and sent directly to the river. So you can see, it's not real pretty to look at. So keep that image in your head so when we go to the very final product, you can compare the two on what actually is really going to the river nowadays.
JEA is also experimenting with adding carbon to these tanks. The carbon acts as additional food for the bacteria. The bacteria grab oxygen from nitrate nitrogen in the tanks to help digest their food, and that releases the nitrogen as gas into the atmosphere. In the final stage of the process, every drop of water is exposed to 540 ultraviolet light bulbs that are 4,000 watts each. This kills any remaining bacteria.
If you look down, you can see the green glow of the light down in the water.
At this point, the water exceeds all standards. Minnows and eels swim upstream and live in the tanks. There's no odor, and the nitrogen content is well below state requirements.
And from this point, it goes to the river, and we're done.